I'm going to do a video on oil pulling because no one's doing it right. Not even the Indian Ayurvedic practitioners that have fancy names. They're living the same as Western people. I don't know why we would expect them to have any more noble practices since they're living just as ignobly as Western people. But I live in the Western world and don't actually live like a Westerner. I live more like an Indian sadhu than the Indians who are explaining on YouTube how to do oil pulling. This is how you actually do oil pulling. This is from 10 plus years of actually needing to do oil pulling on a regular basis in order to avert death. All right. I haven't been to the dentist in 25 years. I have had 2 molars rot out slowly and go in and out of infection over a course of 8 years. And I never went to the doctor once, never went to the dentist once, never took any antibiotics once. All I did was fast from eating and oil pull until the symptoms subsided, and then I would start to consume solid foods again. Because foods are obviously the cause of tooth decay, especially processed foods. So if you can just stay away from food and oil pull, then it does nothing but good for your tooth infection. Whereas if you try to do anything while you're continuing to eat, all you're doing is slowing down your healing process progress and taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back, essentially. Whereas if you fast and oil pull, you're taking 2 steps forward and 2 steps forward and 2 steps forward, no steps back. So this is how you oil pull. The first thing that people are totally leaving out is that you have to get all of the air bubbles out of your oil. You want to use extra virgin sesame seed oil is ideal. And then the next best option is extra virgin coconut oil. You don't want to use too much. If you use too much, it will be too difficult to get a good enough suction, and it'll wear out the muscles in your mouth a lot faster. So you want to use a tiny amount, just like a teaspoon, like this. You know, chew it up and lean back. Tilt your head back and try to press all the air bubbles out of the tip of your lips, so that all you have is oil. And then this is my tooth infection right now is back here in this molar. So I'm gonna take the oil and I'm gonna let it sit below, and then I'm gonna draw with pressure. I'm gonna suck, not just swish. I'm gonna suck oil pulling. You have to suck it past the area of infection, so that it not only mechanically pulls and sucks your infection and pus out, but it also, the oil is adsorbent, which is more than absorbent. So it actually is able to draw infection out of your gum line. So mechanically it's drawing it out, and chemically, or actually I think it's magnetically, oil is able to draw toxins into itself and capture them and envelop them. So this is what you do: lean back, let all the air bubbles out, push them out, and start drawing oil with the suction past your infected area. All right, I know it seems ridiculous, but you're gonna have to do this for 20 minutes. At first, it seems like that's impossible because your mouth muscles aren't worked up to be able to do it that long. So they're going to get sore like at 5 minutes. But if you have an actual tooth infection, it's going to feel painful right away immediately, but in a good way, like it's, working some of it out and getting slowly better. So oil pulling is best used when you actually need to oil pull, so that you can feel the entire time, each second, the significant good that it's doing. Whereas if you don't have an actual active painful tooth infection and you try to oil pull, it's not going to be as motivating, because you're not going to have any painful feeling, and therefore you're not going to have any juxtaposing better and better feeling while you're doing it. You're just going to be oil pulling and doing a lot of work and not receiving back any feedback from your body about, any good that's doing. So it's not going to be as motivational to do this when you don't have an actual tooth infection. But if you do it like how I described, when you do have a tooth infection, it will immediately increase the pain, but quickly start to decrease the pain and pull out the inflammation and the infection. So after about 5 or 10 minutes, it'll noticeably start to feel better. And if you're able to go past the 10 minutes, then it really does a lot better. And then at about 20 minutes, it'll start to not really hurt as much, like at all. And so, yeah, 20 minutes oil pulling a day when you have a tooth infection has been absolutely paramount for me, not having such a bad tooth infection that I died over the last 10 years that I've been dealing with these tooth infections. Here's my rotting teeth. That's a rotting tooth. This one already rotted out. So this is oil pulling, real oil pulling that can actually really help you. I hope it helps someone out there. All right, blessings to us all.